on the previous episode of Menage À Mind.
I had the suicidal way, like I wanna off myself right now.
But why does it impact you to this degree? To some degree, it's their life. It's their decision.
Been living for a long time. I haven't died for a long time.
I love you, but I don't value you. Did you hear what I just said? I love you, but I do not value you. Because love and value are not intertwined and doesn't have to coexist in a relationship. It's better when it does. But in a lot of our relationships, we are in love. We do love our partner, but we don't value them. When we don't value someone, we don't show up for them. We are not as invested into the relationship as they are. And in many scenarios, we accept that because we have this fear of rejection. We don't want the person that we love to reject us. So, therefore, we find ways to compromise ourselves, our safety, our security, our identity to conform to their desires simply because we fear that they're going to leave us behind. When there's love and there's value, we invest, we show up, we conform. We tend to compound what needs to happen in the relationship. When we love and when we value our partner, we do whatever it takes to make them feel comfortable, secure, and safe in the relationship. We let go of our own egos and our own selfish desires for the benefit and the betterment of the relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Menage À Mind. For this episode, I have a special guest. He goes by the body, the greatest of all time, my man, my brother, my co-host, Mr. Orlando.
Hey, it is me, Orlando Roye, aka Orlando, aka the Big Dick Bad Bitch, aka Thick Dick McNick, aka the CEO of Ho.
What?
I'm the CEO of Ho.
That's new.
That's great.
As of when?
I've been rocking with it for a while now, maybe a year or two.
Gotcha.
I've realized that I am as Ho as it gets, and
Okay.
I'm never gonna stop being a Ho.
Before we get to that, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to take a second to welcome you to this podcast.
I'm happy to be here, be a
It's
guest.
the first time you have been here, and thank you for blessing us with your presence.
I'm happy that you feel blessed.
What are you doing here?
I got begged and pleaded.
Not by me. I'll tell you that much.
I had to tell Menage À Mind to know, accept the rates and the fees.
Yes, your invoice has been paid.
I appreciate it, and that's why I'm here.
Yes. So the reason why I brought you here today is I really wanted to talk about your relationship and the role that love
Yeah.
and value plays in your relationship with the most beautiful woman in your world.
What does love say it to me one more time? I want to make sure I answer this
So
correctly.
here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Number one, does love and value coexist in your relationship?
Love and value currently coexist in my relationship, yes.
Why?
Wow, why? I guess I could say because I choose it to be.
Mhm.
We've chosen each other. We've chosen the type of relationship. We've taken agency of for like I guess what kind of relationship we want to have. And one of those aspects of our relationship is having love for each other and valuing each other. Of course there's many
Mhm.
things, but the reason why we have it is because we've chose to have that in our relationship and we see the importance of it in our relationship. Valuing somebody, seeing somebody of importance, seeing somebody of worth makes me make changes how I care and how I indulge in all these things on a daily basis.
Which is leading me to this question, right? In your past relationship, those that didn't make it,
Mhm.
would you say there was the same degree of value
Uh,
into those people, into those relationships?
No, I think I've had similar, the same type of love for
Mm-hmm.
people, and I'm differentiating between love and in love.
Okay.
But I've had the same type of love for people, but not the same type of value. No.
Okay. So why now there's this increased value in Miller? What's different?
What is different is that this is who I and my body has chosen as a person to give to. I feel a comfort with myself, like I felt similar in my past with other people, where I love this person, right, and I value them. Maybe I don't. Maybe I was trying to figure out like what level I value them at, but I do value them. And this happened more immediate than it's happened in like past relationships. So I value them, I care, and
How do you know you value them?
so this is what I was gonna say. So in reaction to my body. So I know because I'm choosing this person, I like this person, we have compatibility, but my body also feels good when I do certain things for this person. My body feels good when I think about what I want to do for this person, how I want to act for this person, what worth I have. When I look at my laptop, right, and I'm not comparing my girl to
A laptop?
a inanimate object, right?
Uh-huh.
But I do see value and worth in my laptop. And if we're talking about just value and worth, this is something that's important to me. This is something that's a necessity
So
to
you
me.
take care of it.
So I take
You
care of it.
cherish it.
I cherish it, and I do that on a daily basis.
And you invest in it.
I've invested in it, and it's giving back also.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a value in not only how I view it, but in also what it does for me.
So it's a dyadic process, right?
Yeah.
You are giving as much as you are receiving. So to some degree, the investment
Mm-hmm.
is equal, even though at times one might invest more at a time than the other. But overall,
Mm-hmm.
the investment, the attention span, the value, and the love tends to equate each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I think. Yeah. Equate is a better word.
Equates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
You look happy, man.
I am currently feeling happiness, yeah.
Your skin is glowing.
My body is reacting really well to like my current state and current mentality, yeah.
Your eyebrows
Eyebrows
arch
are
is
perfect.
perfect.
Is
You know what I'm
eyebrows has
saying?
always been perfect. Eyelashes always been point.
That
Like
shape up though. Huh? Looking dope, man.
Thank you, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. And these are things that I feel like I provide value in my looks, in my personality. I provide value in different ways in my relationship. And so my person seeing value in me and me seeing value in my person is also what helps
Gotcha.
with that situation.
So for this episode,
Mhm.
I want you to be the relationship expert.
Okay.
I want you to educate and talk to the people and kind of share from your perspective
Mhm.
what's working and what's not working, right? So my first question to you as the relationship expert, as
Okay.
the baddie, as the CEO of Hoes,
Ho.
of Ho.
No, I don't. I'm not a CEO of Hoes. I am Ho, the title. I am the CEO of that.
How can we decipher when someone loves us and also has value for us versus when someone just loves us but doesn't value us as much?
In comparison,
Talk to me.
I feel like how someone treats you and values you. I believe that is something that you may need to compare it
Compared to what?
into non-value, into the opposite of it. When you felt like you aren't being valued, or you felt like you aren't being cared for, or treated in a certain type of way, as a necessity, as worth. I think that when you
But I text you, but I call you, but I spend time with you.
okay,
What else you need?
is that what I've communicated to you that is what I find value in, right? And now we're talking about love languages. Now we're talking about reciprocity. And now we're talking about compatibility in all these different ways. If I've expressed to you, my person has expressed to me what they find value in, right? And what they find worth in, and what they need as this entity and this person to feel loved and stuff like that. I've communicated those things. My person has communicated those things to me also. I've even taken prior experiences of when things felt good and went the right way. So yeah, you can text, call, and do these things, but I'm a very complex entity, right? Women, men, we're all very complex beings, and that is not enough. So if I was to give advice or feedback, I would say that you find something to compare it to, right? We view things, we view our parents, we view relationships, and we go, oh, at certain ages, and go, oh, that's what I want. We aren't the first people to be in relationships. Everything's comparable to something. So we go, that's what I want, or that's how I want my relationship or whatever to be molded after, right? And so I think that I viewed toxic relationships, i.e. my parents, and I've went, that's not what I want.
Gotcha. So the first point that you made
Hmm.
is the person attuning to your needs that you have communicated to them,
Hmm.
or they're just doing what's comfortable for them,
Right.
right? Texting you and calling you may not require much from me. I can schedule a text.
Yeah.
I can set a reminder on my phone to give you a call.
Hmm.
But if what I need is for you to create time for me
Yeah.
and be in my space without being distracted by your phone, but you're not doing that,
Hmm.
do you actually value me?
I mean, I think the other part of that is realizing where you're at with this person. Like, where does your value stand with this person? Like, my laptop is worth a lot to me when it comes to editing. My laptop is worth nothing to me when I'm at the beach,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like in a dating space, your value to me is much greater than in the talking phase. When we're married, your value to me is a lot greater than we were when we were dating,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now I'm taking in consideration like where we're standing at the moment, right? And during dating, if you're attentive, you're texting, you're calling, we're having experiences. Oh, I'm showing you your value within this specific space. So I feel like it just depends on where we're at.
Okay. So you are also saying that you have to make sure that your expectation of your value matches the season that currently exists in that relationship.
Am I the expert here or are you? You're
I'm
the
just trying to
translator.
make sense of what you're saying to
Yeah.
make sure that we are on the same page,
Yes.
right?
So yeah, the expectations and where you stand at this in this space and environment, yeah, it plays a factor in that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if we are dating,
Mhm.
it comes with a certain set
Oh,
of
Max,
expectations.
stop.
If we're in a relationship or we're married, the expectations change
Mhm.
because we hold a higher value in each other's lives,
Mhm.
and the actions must consistently showcase that.
Yeah.
I do think that for many of us, we do a very good job of romanticizing our value
Hmm.
in the eyes of someone else without those expectations ever being accepted. For example, right? If
Hmm.
we are dating, I am to believe that you're going to call me and text me good morning every day, wanting to take me out as much as possible. But you might be multi dating yourself. So, therefore, your investment in me is not as high as I would expect it to be.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, how do I set clear expectations of my value? How do I not get ahead of myself
Hmm.
when it comes to my value and having that reciprocity?
You find compatibility, right? You find somebody you could be compatible with. If I'm answering your question correctly, how do I find that?
No, that my question is
Hmm.
how do I honestly reflect and be able to understand what my value is from your eyes? Not, not
I
following me?
I know I am following you. I'm I'm worried about someone trying to find value in a reflection of somebody else instead of yourself, right? And so
Ooh.
there's two things with values here, right?
Ooh. You potting now.
Yeah. So it's all right. Would you say that value and worth is similar or the same
To some
to
degree.
some degree? All right. So what I'm trying to get at is how I value myself and how you value me is two different things.
Correct.
That's what I view, right?
Yes.
And what I feel is that I'm showing my value, right? And now with me showing my value and knowing my worth and all of these things, if we're using the word value,
Mhm.
you valuing me is different than my value for myself. And I need to express it to the world and then find the person that I'm compatible with,
That
right?
that
And
can
so
perceive my value. to the
Yeah.
degree that you do.
Right. And so yeah, so yes, exactly. They're going to perceive my value from their perspective, right? So I can sit here and be like, "Hey, I'm the greatest, I'm greatness or whatever." And now me saying that and my value is worth 10 million. Now I need to find somebody that sees that I'm valued at 10 million and would treat me at that value. Now, I don't what the reason why I
I
was
love this.
yeah,
That's great, right?
so
And
but
just
well, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
sorry to
No,
cut you
no,
off,
no,
but
go
the
ahead.
reason why
You are the expert. I
the
understand.
reason why I was like iffy about like how that question was presented was if I think I'm worth 10 million and you think I'm worth 1 million, then I don't want I just think it's very difficult to try to
But
see the value of yourself in somebody else if you're not seeing yourself at 10 million already.
okay, but isn't it your job to show me that you're worth 10 million?
Yes, but not everybody's going to see 10 million in me.
So that that's to the point that I'm speaking of, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we went on a first date and
Mhm.
you're expecting all of this attention
Mm-hmm.
after the date,
Mhm.
but I don't value you to that degree as of yet,
Mm-hmm.
is it your responsibility to show me that we should be willing to invest more into each other? I wouldn't see your value from our first meeting,
Mm-hmm.
right? Correct?
And I can't say that. I mean, there's some people that met me the first time, and I feel like they valued me more than I even thought I was valued.
Okay.
Right. So, and that's why I say it's kind of hard to say because how I value myself, you might not even value me as much, but you also might even value me more. Right. So it just depends of what I put out there and how I view and value myself. I don't know how I can convince somebody to see my value other than me being myself and me seeing my worth at $10 million or whatever the case may be. Now, if you got value viewing eyes or not, that's on you. If
Correct.
you can't see my worth at 10 million, that's on you. And I don't feel like I should be here trying to convince anybody to see my value. I should be performing my value at whatever worth it's at, and I should see that within myself. And me going around dating this person and from this date, if I'm being this sovereign person and being my best self, my $10 million self and showing my value and you don't see that, that's why I'm multi-dating. To find the person that also views that value, not to have somebody tell me what my value is in their eyes. Because then that miscues how much I'm worth.
So you shouldn't have to persuade someone or convince someone to cherish you or to value you. What you're saying is that by being yourself, your high valued self,
That's
right,
convincing.
throughout your actions, your behaviors,
Mhm.
and your ways of life,
Yeah.
you do want someone that can pick up on that and that can see your value
Mhm.
and willing to invest as much as possible
Mhm.
because they recognize how great you are and how valuable you are to
Yes.
them.
I'm saying that you should convince someone, and you should do that by being yourself.
Yes.
And you should build yourself up to be worth and valued, all of these things, and then that's the work. That's me convincing somebody is that I've done it myself before I've even met you. And if you don't see it, that's not on me. I've
Yes.
done it and I'm doing it, and
Mhm.
if I'm consistently doing that, then that's me convincing.
Yes.
I'm convincing the world by being great myself and being this
It's an
high
excellent
value
point.
person.
That is an
High value.
excellent. You will be treated the same way that you conduct yourself.
Yeah.
You will be valued to the degree that you feel your value is.
Mhm.
And what you're willing to accept determines your value. So you might be worth 10 million and I offer you a million. If you accept a million,
Mhm.
your worth is a million,
Yeah.
not 10 million.
Exactly.
Right? However, when it comes to relationship and when it comes to money in general, right?
Mhm.
Those of us that have never experienced love,
Mhm.
acceptance, healthy relationships, right? And to go back to your point, those of us who came from an upbringing where money was not readily available,
Mhm.
how do I say no to $1 million? How do I say no to someone willing to make me their boyfriend or girlfriend?
Mhm.
How do I say no to that?
And then that's why I say you got to compare in the beginning, right? You got to see, oh shit, I can be $10 million. I can be worth $10 million because I've seen somebody else do it, right? I've seen relationships where like this person viewed them as only 1 million. Now they view them as 10 million. We've seen all these different types of relationship, right? And now I feel like it's a comparison now.
How long should one be willing to wait until their value is being recognized and met? Because you're saying you're worth 10 million,
Mm-hmm.
right? If all these companies are calling you and offering you five,
Yeah.
6, 7, but they never get to that 10 million, how long are you willing to wait?
How bad do I want that 10 million? And that's how long I'm willing to wait. How bad am I willing to wait for my worth? Is the question, right? And then you have to sit with yourself on that. Like, how well am I willing to date this person that's only going to give me half of my worth, or am I going to wait until somebody that's going to come around and give me 20 million, or see me or view me as that?
Okay.
Like, it's all about how you feel, how long you can wait. Me, I felt like I could wait 30 years to find that person.
Not to play devil's advocate, right?
Mm-hmm.
That all sounds nice. Right.
And it does.
That all sounds nice.
It always
But
just
in
sounds nice.
reality,
Yeah.
you know, I'm looking around me. Everybody's in relationships.
Mhm.
Everybody's feeling love. Christmas gifts, Valentine's Day, vacation, and etc. Everybody is growing their family. They
Yeah.
look happy. They're posting the highlights on social media, and here I am just looking through the screen, wishing that I could be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So now, to some degree, doesn't society or the market set my value?
Mm-hmm.
Am I the same value that I was at 23 versus 33? Am I at the same value when I looked a certain way versus how I look now?
Are you?
When I have a number of baggages prior to not having previous
Yeah.
baggages, I may feel like I'm worth 100 million, but if the market is telling me I can only get 20 million,
Mm-hmm.
is my assessment of myself realistic or is it romanticized?
That is a good question. Based on society, is my assessment realistic or
Who
romanticized?
gets to
Okay.
set my value?
All right.
Is it just
What
myself?
I mean, what is romanticized, right? Is it are you telling someone that, oh, what you say your value isn't really true, is just based on what you're seeing, and that may not actually be the level that you're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you to tell me the level I'm at?
It's not me. It's the market.
Okay, who is the market?
It's the trend. The
Mhm.
market tends to be um what's the word I'm looking for? Right. We
Set
tend,
the standard.
yeah,
Mhm.
right. The standard is set by the majority, right? So if the majority, let's make this way more specific and less philosophical,
Okay,
right?
it's fair.
It is stated by
Mhm.
the red pill community that a woman's highest market value is at the age of 23.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm 34, 35, or even 33,
Mhm.
to some degree, my market value has dropped.
Okay.
So, based on what you said, you get to set your own value, and
Yeah.
you are to hold that until someone can see that within yourself. Right. But if everybody around me is telling me that that's no longer my market value,
Mhm.
right? That what I'm saying and how I'm viewing myself is to some degree inflated.
Mhm.
How do I make sense of the two?
You don't take on the market value. You use the market value as a standard, and then you choose where you stand at the market value. So if we're talking about a woman that's um 28 years old, and has, a successful career, right? And we're talking about a woman that's 38 years old and has a successful career, right? It's two different market values, right? And now it's up to you to look at where you are at that standard, and now you choose where you are. You under market value because of where you're at the time, or are you over market value? I am currently 32 years old, no college degree, technically on paper unemployed, right? And I'm still above market value. How? as a black man in America.
Because of your skill sets and what you have to offer.
Right. But at market value, that's not seen as value. I'm not seen as a valuable man, right? But I view that within myself.
Okay. So what you're saying is that the market value is served by certain things, but there
Yeah.
are different factors
There,
within yourself that's within your control that determines your value to some degree.
I think the market, if we're talking about the market, is society. I think society deems certain things valuable,
more
more
important
and whatever.
than
So
others.
now what you do is you look at this market value, what society deems or whatever, and then you assess yourself and where you stand. Okay, I might be a almost 40-year-old black woman that has a successful career but is single, right? And the market would tell me that I have a less chance of having a child and a family at this time.
That nobody would
That
want
nobody will
you.
want me, right?
You need to lower your
Yes,
expectations.
right. But guess what? I'm fucking beautiful. I know how to dress. I may not cook that great, but I'm a great listener and I make men feel comfortable around me.
And I can hire a chef. I go on vacation. I provide for myself. I own my own
So
home,
so
my cars, and etc.
right. And some men not even find those things valuable, right? So now you have to assess for yourself if this is what the market is. I'm comparing, all right, this is what the market is, and this is where I am, right? Am I gonna romanticize and put myself above the market, right? Or am I gonna be a realistic and stay at the market, stay on the market, or am I gonna be a realistic and be above the market, right?
You missed your takeaway. You said it, but I don't think you realized
I probably
the
did.
impact of what you said.
Well, you're the podcaster, so let me know.
What you said is society can have a determining factor of what's valuable,
Yeah,
but you get to decide for yourself
where you stand.
what value is and
Mhm.
what is it that you have to offer that's valuable. Not
Mhm.
let society tell you what's valuable, right?
Yes.
The perfect example is yourself. You said that I don't have a college degree. Per IRS wise, you're unemployed and
Mhm.
etc. But let's be honest, you're currently at your highest value you've ever been in life.
Ever. And guess what? If you come around me, I can tell you that whatever problem you have, I can give you one less problem. I find that valuable. Right. And so and that's what I'm saying. It depends. You have to, if you're looking at your value, you're looking at like how you want to be valued, then if we were talking about the market price and how society views it, you gotta look at that, right? In a comparison state, not in that's also me.
Yes. And if we take it back to the dating world and the way that you pay attention to how someone perceive you is,
Mhm.
can they see the value that I have to offer?
Yeah.
Is what I have to offer valuable to them
Hmm.
or not?
Right.
So if it's not, let me just keep on moving to
Hmm.
others because you will never see my value nor my worth,
Yeah.
right? Versus someone that sees that I am 40, I have my own career, I own my own business, my
Yeah.
tax write-offs are stellar.
Hmm.
I've been all over the world, and those are the lifestyle that I want to live.
Yeah.
Someone who understands that and value those things
Yeah.
will put me at a higher value than
Mm.
someone that does not.
Right. And imagine that person that puts you at a higher value. That's the person that's going to elevate you. That's going to
Ooh.
person that's going to put you at a different standard because you sitting here thinking, oh, I'm only worth $10, $20. And this person like, oh, you worth 30. Now guess what you got to do?
Uh-huh.
You got to be worth $30. And this person, and if they truly believe you, love you or whatever, they're not going to demean you to like $5 a penny. You're going to be pushed to get to that $30. Be that type of person. And I like how we're using a lot of money analogies, but it's value and worth it goes hand in hand in some type of way. And so
You set your value.
yeah, I set my value, but I can also set the value for the other person, right?
And that's their perception of you.
And that's my perception. Like actually set a higher value for Mila when I first met her. When we first met and hung out or whatever, and then we went to Mexico for a week. At the end of it, I told her that she can date whoever she wants, do whatever the fuck she wants, but she can never deal with anybody that treats her worse than I do. I've done two things in that statement. I saw the value in myself, and I let her know the value that I view her at. And I told her that nobody else can interact with her if they don't value her at the value that I see her as.
Yeah.
And because of the value I saw her as was so great, I didn't want to let anybody else into her life that didn't see her that great.
Yeah.
And now, because I saw her that great, she had to uphold that, but not let anybody else in her life that doesn't view her that way.
She had to conflate the two.
Right.
Because you saw how high of a
Yeah.
value that she was.
Mm-hmm.
Part of her work is being able to recognize that and
Yeah.
accepting that.
Mm-hmm.
And no longer allowing those that view her at a lower value to interact with her.
Exactly. But guess what? It was a romanticized ideal. It's not realistic. Because I've met this woman twice. Once for a whole week, which I had time, I had a Corvette, and we went around all these places and stuff like that. And then another time in a whole different country where we had this amazing experience. We've only met 2 times. And then I told her that she can't deal with anybody else if they don't have this kind of experience with her.
Yeah.
That I romanticized this value of her. So as I was saying, like, you know, what is really romanticized in comparison to reality? Because it depends on like how you view yourself. And I can romanticize myself at this crazy value.
But if nobody else sees you at that value, it doesn't
And
matter.
now I have to be realistic on how long I'm willing to be patient for someone to view that value also. So now this is all sovereignty and an assessment of yourself of how long am I going to view myself at this level in comparison to this, what society views? How long am I going to wait for somebody to view this? And how long am I also going to upkeep me at this level or at this value for somebody to view it?
So the cheat code to everything that you're saying
Is be yourself.
is, yes, be yourself and have your own view of
Of
yourself
yourself.
and accept that. But also to be very mindful of how those you interact with value you.
Yeah.
How much do you mean to them?
Mm-hmm.
How much are they willing to invest in you?
Mm-hmm.
How much are they willing to pay to be around you, to
Yeah.
be in your space, and to go with you?
Yeah.
So if you are dating, right, I want you to pay very close attention to the perceptive value that the person you are dating has of you, right? Are they just doing the generic things to show their investment in you? Or are they willing to go above and beyond as a way of communicating and reflecting their perception of their value of you? I really want you to do that work.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to go back to your story real quick with Mila.
Yeah.
You are known as a non-monogamous individual.
Yes, I am currently monogamous.
And that's what's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about, can you share a little bit more how you went from being in a non-monogamous relationship to now a monogamous relationship? What's the reason why? And how does it relate to the perceptive value that you have of Mila and of your relationship?
Okay. So when we first started out, we started off as non-monogamous because of our long distance relationship.
Whose idea was that?
That was mine, right? And part of it was me knowing the type of person that I am and the type of person that I'm with, right?
Okay. Say more.
And we are both very sexual beings.
Jeez, I had
I'll
no
take
idea.
that back. I take that back because we are sexual beings, but we are also free and open people, right? Where we like to interact with people, not only in a sexual manner, right? So the non-monogamy wasn't only to provide a space where we could be open and free sexually, but just open and free, period, without worry and strain as people of this title of monogamy. Because I understand the rules and regulations of monogamy, but I can also understand the taxing mental strain when it comes to interacting with other people, right? So I thought that non-monogamy would be the best title to describe us.
Did you do that for yourself or did you do that for her?
For both. That it was I honestly can say that it was something that my sexual experiences I was having at the time, I didn't want to give up is the wrong word, but I'll use, for lack of a better term, I say I didn't want to stop that because the person that like if I was a monogamous person, I'll be sexual interacting with like across the fucking country.
Okay.
Now,
but
when it
also at that time, were you still producing for OnlyFans?
Yes.
Okay. So, so if you are taking the title of monogamy to some degree, you were removing a source of income fee.
I mean,
did
technically, but that's
OnlyFans play a part into that decision making?
It did not play a part into that decision. No. So when it came to the point, let me see if I can remember. When it came to the point of like going from non-monogamy to monogamy, right? That's the question. Is I it was miscommunication. I guess that would be the easiest way to say it, right? It was figuring out. I want to make sure I remember this right. What the fuck happened? It was miscommunication under, I guess, what was comfortable under non-monogamy, right? And in the beginning, it was, we have the
Oh,
rules and regulations of it, whatever. But as time went on and our relationship progressed
evolved.
and evolved, right, the value changed, right? The things
Yes.
that we cared about changed. So there was
What was it? What was that moment? The deciding moment.
the decided moment was
What'd you do?
it didn't do anything.
What'd you do?
The decided moment was like I the decided moment was reciprocity, and what I view as like us being fair to each other. So one of the things that Mila doesn't like was like, spending time with someone that you've been sexually
You have a
sexual
sexual
intercourse with,
history
yeah,
with.
that you
Yeah.
had a sexual history with, right? And so it wasn't anything crazy, but what I said to her was, I feel like it should be reciprocal, right? Like if you don't want me to spend certain time with people, then I don't feel like you should do that also. Now this wasn't anything crazy, it was off the whim, whatever, it was quick. So in a discussion, I said that, if to make things more comfortable, maybe we should let each other know before we'll go off and do something, right?
Let's communicate to each other that we are about to go sleep with somebody else.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to get my memory back together, but that was the basis of it, right?
I don't think I could handle that.
I mean, when you're already in that space,
Yeah.
it's not really
Yeah.
anything that's like bothersome. It was just communicating
Mhm.
to know where this person stands at a specific time. Like I said, it was nothing crazy. Now the miscommunication was when we were going to implement that, right? And so I thought it was going to be implemented like maybe a week after. Mila thought it was implemented immediately. So as so as that like I said, it was a miscommunication. So
Oh
as that
man.
happened, I just so happened maybe that same weekend have a threesome with somebody, right? So before on the guys that we've had and what we were doing, it was like that wouldn't have been nothing, right? So, but now because we recently had this conversation and this slight miscommunication, I didn't let her know beforehand. She thought I was gonna let. She was like, "Oh, I thought you were gonna let me know," and then that became a thing. So now,
So from her eyes, you were being deceitful. You were not being honest. No, were you being transparent? Because we had an agreement put in place, even though it was not as specific in terms of time frame. But in her mindset, that was going to be the governing agreement
it,
since the conversation
yeah,
took place.
it wasn't deceit. It was more so in her eyes. We recently spoke and agreed to something,
And you didn't follow
and
through.
you didn't follow through. But you're the same one talking about being equal and fair,
Yes.
right?
So how can I trust you?
It wasn't more so how can I trust
No,
you?
she didn't say that, but she's thinking that.
All right, sure. She's thinking how can I trust you, right? And
Yes.
so in the conversation and in this miscommunication, we explained and found out it was a miscommunication. So then that's when I said, you know what? Putting you in a space of
Mm.
not feeling comfortable, right?
And secure.
Or not feeling secure because that is
I
insecure.
got you.
And I've provided something that could make you feel insecure.
That
I
make
said,
me question my position
right.
within this relationship.
Right. And even though, there's no fault here, it's just simple miscommunication that led down to this happening. I took it upon myself as a leader to go, you know what? I'm gonna go into a monogamous relationship. You can still be non-monogamous. I'm gonna be monogamous on my end. So we can one have this clarity of um what this current new spaces that we agree to, and so that you can have a comfort of knowing that I'm not in that current space that made you feel uncomfortable just now.
So what I'm hearing you say to Mila is
I went monogamous and she was still non-monogamous.
I value you so much,
Yeah.
and you are so worth it to me, and my love for you runs so deep that I never want to put you in a position where you could ever question how much you mean to me or experience any doubts or insecurity about your position in
Yeah.
this relationship.
And
With that being said, what I'm going to do is, and to kind of showcase my leadership and my investment
mhm,
to you, I'm going to be monogamous in this relationship from now on, even though at this moment I am not requiring the same from you,
mhm.
because I wanted to communicate to you how much I value you, how much I respect you, how much I want to be with you, and I am willing to make the necessary investment. I don't want to say sacrifice, but to some
Not a sacrifice at
degree.
all. Not a sacrifice at all.
Okay.
Just a pivot, an adjustment.
And I'm going to pivot and adjust to your comfort
Hmm.
and your desire, because I can perceive it
Yeah.
and I can understand it.
Yeah.
And I never want you to feel like that again.
Right. And multiple things happened after that. As a leader, what happened? I gained a follower.
Can we just pause for a second?
We did the pause thing.
Can we just pause for a
We
second?
take it all in.
This is what leadership is.
Yeah.
This is what leadership is. This is what I perceive your worth, and I'm going to showcase that through my behaviors and my actions.
Hmm.
This is, I'm going to put your needs, your mental health, and your view of this relationship first prior to any desires of mine,
Yeah.
because I love you, I care for you, and I value you.
Yep.
I fucks with you for that,
I
man.
am the expert here.
I fucks with you for
I
that.
am the expert right now. You're just a podcaster.
I am just a podcaster. But this is what leadership is.
Hmm.
If we go back to comparison, right? We tend to throw away that word leadership around. I need a man that's going to lead, or a man saying, I need a woman that's going to let me lead. You don't need permission to lead. She didn't give you permission to do this. You just did it because as a leader, that's how you move.
Yeah. And I was able to do that based on the relationships I've seen before and knew that this was the right method to go about it.
And because in your eyes as well, she is worth that.
He's worth that. And,
You saw her value,
right.
and you're not willing to compromise her value at all.
Yeah. And as I do that as a leader, she became a follower. Right?
That's
Because she
I would recommend that you change
sure, whatever.
those two words, because social
Listen,
media is going to run with this.
They can say whatever the fuck they want. She became a follower. And after I led and became monogamous, she followed along and became monogamous right after me. Why?
How long after?
Not long. Why?
No,
Because
I'm nosy.
yeah, I know, right? But the reason was because she saw me, she saw the value in me as a leader
Hmm.
and as a partner. I saw the value of myself and she reciprocated that viewpoint.
You also establish your value.
Establish my value. Not the market's value.
Correct.
My own.
You establish your own value.
Mhm.
I'm man enough to recognize how I made you feel,
Yeah.
and I apologize for that, and I've taken the necessary steps to ensure that you never experience that again.
Right.
That's how valuable I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because anyone would have continued down that route, because I have the freedom to be with whoever I want to and still have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Even though that may be detrimental to your mental health and the way that you're experiencing this relationship.
Right. And everyone may have been worth millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands. She's my billion.
Ooh.
Ooh. As I'm saying, that's why it was no sacrifice, right? She's my billion. What am I doing here?
I like that, but if I went home and then said that my wife is my trillion, she would choke me out. So baby, you're my trillion. But yeah.
Yeah.
In your eyes, she held so much value that you were willing to do whatever it takes to be with her and make her feel comfortable and secured in the relationship.
Right. And now if she would have reciprocated that by not following along or not I don't even say following, not taking the necessary steps that would have made me feel comfortable and seeing the value of myself. Now I have to realize, oh, that's how you view me. I view myself a certain way, and maybe I can wait until you view me that way. Maybe I'll have that patience, but maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have to decide if I'm going to stay in this space where someone sees my value, or if I'm going to leave this space because they don't see my value. And with those options at hand, if they were to ever come into play, if those options at hand, now you have to go back and say, what the fuck am I about to lose? And so now when you view that and you think about it, it's like, you know what? Let me get my shit together. Maybe I should go monogamous too, because I value this person. And I'm not willing to lose it in comparison to the value of what society and the marketplace is at. Because this shit is above market value right here.
Do you know why couples tend to have so many breakups so often? It's because they're trying to set their value into their partner's eyes.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll value me if I walked away. If I threaten divorce or if I threaten leaving you, maybe your behavior will start changing because you recognize my value, and losing me would make it a negative investment.
Yeah. But
should you have to do that to set your value?
No, what I'm saying, and no, you shouldn't, right? Here we go. And no, you shouldn't. But guess what? I didn't do that. I didn't threaten anything. I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a change. Now let's see what you do. And I didn't threaten anything. I didn't threaten anything. I didn't force anything. And without threatening or forcing, you made the change. But at that point right there, that is also a pivotal point where I'm waiting to see where my value is in where you see my value, right? So no, you don't always have to threaten to get change.
Yeah. My wife and I just had a conversation on my way here as well, relating around finances, right?
Yeah.
I'm a spender. I have my relationship with money is vastly different from her relationship with money. And she talked to me about the experience where when we first got our apartment, I wasn't honest about my debt, my credit card debts, and etc. And when it came time to pay the rent, I would always have to borrow money and not even let her know that I was doing that because I didn't want her to feel some type of way.
Okay.
So what I actually did, because I saw her value and I was highly invested in being with her long term, and me also being able to self-reflect and recognize that my relationship with money is not as healthy as hers was, I turned the finances all over to her. Gave her my credit cards, gave her all of the logins, and she was able to create a plan that we followed to the T and take care of all of the finances. I have yet to have to pay a bill in the past 10 years. She does all of that. I saw her value. I was willing and ready to conform and show my leadership by saying, you're better at this than I am. Even though society states as a man, I'm supposed to be doing this, taking care of the finances and etc. But I suck at that. I'm not good at that. Take that on.
Yeah.
And she was more than willing to do so. Right. And just to go back to what you said about Mila I don't want to say becoming a follower, but following
in my footsteps.
Yeah, right. There were things at first that I was better at than my wife was, but she was never willing to admit that and trust me with those things. Once I did that, it was a trade.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna do the finances. You're better at grocery shopping than I am. Do you mind taking that on? And just like you said, she followed right along because we set our value, we showed the leadership, and usually it requires us to take the first steps.
Yeah. And it's so when we're talking about this, right? So we're talking a lot further down the line, right? We're talking in relationships and value and stuff like that. But before you even get there, you have to see it in yourself, and that's where a lot of sovereignty comes in. You have to see this worth and this value and this maybe even romanticized worth and view of yourself before you even get to this point of saying that, hey, you need to see the value of me in this relationship, or there's a risk there. Before you even do that, what what it will always come back to is how you view and value yourself.
Yeah, and now that I'm going back to my history with my wife, is at first she didn't want me. She wanted nothing to do with me. I was just a homie,
Hmm.
but I saw her value early,
Yeah.
and I knew, now you're gonna be my wife.
Hmm.
You don't know it yet. You're gonna be my wife.
Yeah.
So to some degree, I started dating her, spending more time with her, and etc. Because I had to show my value because she didn't recognize it. But I knew her view of my value was tinted based on her past experiences,
Yeah.
right? So, in many occasions, someone may not be able to perceive your value at that current place and time because, based on their experiences, they're just not able to recognize it at this moment,
Hmm.
right? So, it's okay to be a part of something to kind of show your value or work up to a higher value,
Hmm.
but you got to have a plan in place and a time frame in place. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm giving this 3 months.
Yeah.
If after 3 months you don't want to commit to me in an exclusive relationship, it's your loss.
Hmm.
It's not, it will be mine to some degree, but it's also your loss,
Yeah.
right? Because I know what I have to offer, how I'm going to behave,
Hmm.
and what my ability to grow within this relationship is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And within 30 days,
Hmm.
she was on mine, baby.
All right. Oh, okay. So
On
I have a
mine.
good story that's like similar to yours. When me and Mila first got into a relationship, before that, I had slept with somebody, another podcaster, and they went on their podcast and started speaking about this experience. Of course, the experience was amazing. Experience
They
was,
labeled you by name?
I am the big dick bad
Oh my god.
bitch.
Oh my god.
But the spirit experience was great. It was a very unique, great experience. And so Mila catches wind of it, and her whole thing to me was, hey, if you're gonna be doing this, I don't like to be like included in the group and everything and stuff like that. If you're gonna do it, can you not like have it like be broadcasted everywhere? And I said, of course. I will talk to this person. I can't talk to this person. I could let people know if we're gonna have these experiences, as me and her being single at the time. If we're gonna, I could let people know if I'm gonna have these experiences with them. I have this person that I have a deep care for, and we can have it. Just don't be going on podcasts bragging about it, right? Whether we're a guest or a host or whatever the case. No publication, right? I was like, I can do that for you.
Set a boundary and you followed through
I did follow through, but
because she was worth it.
I let her know I can only do it if she is my girlfriend.
Ooh.
Not a problem at all. But that
Player,
space,
give me some. Give me some, player.
but that space,
You want this exclusively?
yeah, that space is, and I value you at that at that
Mhm.
level and at that worth. But now we're talking about valuing you as a single woman and valuing you as a
Ooh.
single woman
Ooh.
that's coming to me with
Ooh.
boundaries
Ooh.
and saying what they want and stuff
Ooh.
like that. Well, guess what? This also comes with this level of responsibility. So if you want this from me, I'm going to need this type of commitment, not title. It wasn't about the title girlfriend or boyfriend. It was about I need this level of commitment from you because I value myself at this level. And if I'm going to put out this workload to make sure you're comfortable,
These are my
this
requirements.
workload comes with the boundaries, commitment, title of girlfriend.
Let's go.
And that's how we ended up in a
Let's
relationship.
go. Setting your value again.
Yeah.
You want to set those type of boundaries with me, that's perfectly fine. But in
Yeah.
order to do so, those are my requirements.
These are my requirements. Okay. And then it didn't really take me 30 days, but within 30 minutes, we were in a relationship.
Oh man. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's how me and Mila ended up in a relationship.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, she presented to me what her value was. I presented to her what my value is. She presented her boundaries. I presented mine, and we came to an agreement of where we want to be. She values me at that level. She was like, you know what? I could be committed to you. This is somebody this is an investment I can commit to, not just some one-off putting my money in, taking my money out, getting something. This is an investment I can commit to long term. I see value in this investment. I don't have to keep, buying, selling the stock and day trading and shit like that. I can hold my money here because this is gonna come back to me tenfold. All right, you want to hold your money here? This is what you got to do, right?
Which leads us to this takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
if you're setting a boundary and these individuals are choosing not to respect that or follow through on that,
Yeah.
is because their perceptive value of you is not high.
High as you may want it to be. Because high
Correct.
is based on perspective.
Correct. It's not to the degree that you view yourself.
Mm.
And they're communicating to you, you're just not worth it and you're just not that valuable.
Mhm.
So they can choose to consistently overlook that boundary because they don't really fear the repercussions of that.
Right.
They don't care if they lose you.
Mm-hmm. And you know what the crazy thing about?
Wait, gotta let that breathe.
Man, I'll be ready to go. I'm not a podcaster like you, so you
Because
gotta.
that's hard to accept, though,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's very difficult to accept that the perception that I have of myself is not the perception that you have of me. And the perception that I have of you is not as high of a perception that you have of me.
Yeah.
So I always feel the need to consistently try to show my worth and my value to you. And
Mhm.
by doing so, I'm being dishonest about who I am and how I'm presenting myself to be.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's called radical acceptance. It's a DBT skills, is accepting reality for what it truly is.
Mhm.
It's much more beneficial to you to recognize that, hey, your perceptive value of me is not where I want it to be. And I'm just going to choose to walk away because you don't respect me, you don't value me, and your
Mhm.
investment is low. I don't want to waste my time. Nor do I want to continue to overly invest into someone that's not investing to the same degree that I am investing.
Yeah.
That leads to heartbreaks. That leads to infidelity. That leads to trauma.
Mhm.
That leads to sleepless nights. That leads to a cycle of toxicity.
Mhm.
So I know it hurts to walk away or to experience that rejection, but it's temporary versus we're talking for years. I want to be in a relationship and exclusive with you, but you keep saying you're not ready.
Yeah.
Then 2 months later, you're exclusive and committed to somebody else.
Mhm.
It's not because you weren't ready.
Yeah.
You didn't see the value in being committed and exclusive with me.
Mhm.
So when Mila presented you that,
Mhm.
you set your
Because she felt the
value.
value in herself.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you also the value in yourself as well
Mhm.
to say, hey, I have no problem doing that. However, in order to do so, I need a commitment.
This is how I value myself,
Yes.
and I need this because I value myself
Yes.
at this level.
And she valued you so much that
Mhm.
she said, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be honest with you, because I valued her at a certain level, I didn't have to tack on a bunch of shit for her to do. I could have been like, yo, we need to be in the same fucking state. If you out here throwing commands out 3 hours in the past, you out here throwing commands to people in the future, then you need to be in the same we need to be on the same fucking
Mhm.
time zone for you to throw out these demands. I could have did all of that.
Yeah.
To make myself a bit more comfortable. Saw the value in her. Saw what she can offer, what she has, and not in a transactional way. Just saw the type of person she was and what I was willing to do to keep her in my life.
Yeah. So if you're telling this person that you're dating, hey, I need you to end this this friendship or this relationship because it's making me feel some type of way
Mm-hmm.
about my position in the relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and they're unwilling to do so, that's because that friendship holds a higher value than they have of you. I know it hurts when I talk like that because people want hope, right? People want the romanticism. That's why certain Instagram pages are so big and major because they're telling you what you want to hear. All right. They're not giving you the medicine, they're giving you the tea. We here to give you the medicine, and with a lot of medicine, it's bitter. It's bitter.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
You disagree with me?
So I disagree with in the sense of this is giving hope, not what you were doing before.
Okay.
Telling somebody that you stay within your worth, you get what you're worth is hope.
Nice
Telling
rephrase.
somebody to leave in a situation where they're not being valued is hopeful because you're going to find that value. Staying in a situation where you're not valued isn't hopeful.
Yeah.
That is literally the opposite of hopeful. So
That's why you're the expert. That was such an excellent reframe.
yeah,
Who
and
taught you
so
that?
myself, I started realizing. No, honestly, I say that I taught myself because I taught myself perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I started realizing that we redefine things incorrectly.
Ooh.
We've put societal definitions on actual definitions.
We redefine things based on the narrative that we have built about ourselves.
Exact. Okay, yes, that is a. Woo! I give you that. Usually, I have something come back like, yes, I was like, wait, yeah, that's it. That is it.
You did that.
You did it exactly.
Yeah.
But and that's hopeful, and people, and I hate is a strong word, but I do hate when people misuse the word hope or faith
Mm-hmm.
and things like that, because telling somebody to stay in a relationship that isn't valued, that isn't helpful, that isn't damn, what the fuck is the word I'm looking, that isn't for them,
Mm-hmm.
period. Telling somebody to stay in a space that isn't beneficial for them, whether transactional or not, isn't hopeful.
Yeah.
You're slowly dying at this point. You're slowly losing money. You're slowly losing your investment. You're doing everything but being in a hopeful space. What's hopeful is hopeful for a better tomorrow,
through
right?
your actions.
Regardless, even if you don't see it there, that's hope. And what I'm telling you is, if you are in a sovereign space of being yourself, if you see the value within yourself and you act on that value, then you're not going to get a bunch of people that are going to see that value also, but you might just get one. And if you need more than one, then that's up to you and your patience and you trying to find more than one. But are you looking for every single person in this fucking earth to be on your dick? No. That's fucking annoying.
Fair.
You don't want everybody that's in your fucking face, because you don't know if anybody really values you.
Yeah.
You just have a bunch of fucking people in your face. It's impossible for every single person on this earth to see your exact value as you do. So you sitting here with someone that doesn't see your value just because you want your value to be sought isn't hopeful.
Yeah.
Going out every day knowing that that person is out there rejecting and denying those that aren't fucking with you, when you know they're not fucking with you because you know there's something out there better for you, is hope.
Yes.
So I just want people to like get into the space of being comfortable with knowing who the fuck they are and acting on who they are.
And that's the biggest thing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because eventually we start to decrease our perception of our value because we're not getting the outside reinforcers to tell us that this values are accurate.
That tell me I'm not valuable.
Which then leads us to be fine finding ourselves in compromising situations. So the takeaway is, if you're the bad bitch, act as such, walk as such, be such.
And those who see such will view it.
Exactly. And they'll accept you for who you are.
Yeah. People not seeing me as the big dick bad bitch doesn't stop me from being the big dick bad bitch. And people not seeing you for being who you are doesn't stop you from being who you are. You do.
See, now this is where I get emotional a little bit, right? Because that's something that I have been experiencing for a while now, right? Where your perception, where people are going out of their ways to kind of show you that you're not valuable.
Yeah.
And having to remind yourself, nah, I'm valuable whether or not you see it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do need that reinforcer. You do need that booking, or you do need that email or that DM that just lets you know, yo, bro, you dope. Yeah. No matter what others are saying. Because in many instances, it benefits others to not communicate your value to you because they get away with lowering whatever it is that they have to offer to you.
Yeah. Or
it's easy. Go ahead.
Or they get away with bringing you to what they view themselves at.
Yeah.
And they can't view anything at this abysmal level,
because
at this abysmal value,
because
they can't see it. because they don't view themselves that way. So now the comforting thing is to bring you down because I can't view myself as more.
Right. So if I'm at that level, I
Yeah.
don't want somebody in this level near me. So if I can get them to this level where I feel comfortable
Exactly.
at, is where I'm going to want them.
Exactly. And if I'm at a certain value, and I don't even want to like use level as like one is above or
Mhm.
beyond, because we could all just be in different spaces, right?
Ooh.
So if I'm at a different value, and when I say value in comparison to like money, I'm not saying 10 million is worth more than 1 million.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily need 10 million all the time. Is it great? Is it
Shit.
great?
Of course it is.
Yes. But it's not in the sense of more is better, right?
Correct.
It's in the sense of we're just in different spaces. And if somebody cannot view me in a certain space, then they don't need to be around me, because I don't need nobody putting me in a certain space that I don't need to be in.
Another great takeaway,
Mm-hmm.
which goes back to perception of value, right?
Yeah.
In this space here, my age
Mm-hmm.
can be seen as
Yeah.
as an asset or a deficit.
Yeah.
But in this space here,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
My income is the difference maker,
Right.
right? So not only do you have to recognize your value, but
Mhm.
also understand in which spaces does what you have to offer
Right.
hold the highest value.
Right. And so like
Wait,
you're
I'm
a
not
dad.
done. Last one.
Oh man,
Last one,
oh,
right?
man, we're
right?
about it.
Right?
I'm on one.
If you go to corporate America,
Uh-huh.
by you not having a degree, you
Mhm.
have a low value.
Yeah.
In the podcasting world,
Yeah.
bro, you are the creme de la creme.
As a dad. How valuable as a dad?
Highly. Highly.
As to a woman that has a child, how valuable am I as a dad?
Right. Yeah.
Like there's just so many different ways you can view your own value, how you can be valuable to other people, and how people can view you as valuable. And now you just have to find that space. But if you're sitting here around somebody that you know, and and not knowing as in like you have the hard cold fact, but you have that intuition. Your body is speaking to you and it's telling you certain things, and it's making you feel certain things. It's producing chemicals in your body to experience certain emotions to let you know this person doesn't fuck with you. And you're still sitting here in that space. You're devaluing yourself, and you're just equating yourself to what this other person views you as. Instead of you going out there having hope that you will one day find that person that values you in the environment and space that you need to be in.
This was a great episode, man.
I try my best to be a professional. You're a great podcaster also.
I just want to thank you for taking the time out of being the expert. I love everything that we've talked about, and I really do hope that people get something out of this. When it comes to value, is one, to recognize your own value. Two, recognize the value that others perceive you to be at. Three is to know in which spaces is what you have to offer hold the highest value,
Yeah.
and to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was a classic. This was a classic, man. Is there anything else you would like to add before we end, sir?
I would like for everyone to go follow me at WH_Orlando Roye. I would like for everyone to go follow and listen to an amazing podcast that I just heard about called Ménage À Mind, MENAGEAMIND. And you can follow Ménage À Mind at everywhere that you are on socials: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And you can hit us up, me, the relationship expert for the day, and Mac, the podcaster.
This guy here, right? And one more thing before we go, I want you to look directly into your camera.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to view this camera as Mila, as she's currently watching you,
Yeah.
making eye contact and blushing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to tell her, how much value does she hold in your eyes?
Oh, Mila, my love, you are as valuable as I view you to be. You are as valuable as I deem it from my perspective. And as long as you continue to carry yourself in a manner that is valuable how you deem it for yourself, I will continue to elevate that value. put you on a higher pedestal, make you feel worthy, and make you feel like what you're doing is of worth. And you will always be worth more than you view yourself, as long as you view yourself as valuable.
And to my editor, as you were saying this, I want you to add some soft violin to the background. I think this was amazing.
Yeah.
I thank you again for being here. This was another classic episode of Ménage À Mind. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. Feel free to leave us a review on all podcast platforms as well. It is your host, Relationship Hove, signing out.
On the next episode of Ménage À Mind.
If we all have the goal of bettering the world, why are we removing opportunities from others?
Hate isn't supposed to be said and shouted out loud.